Lydia Kukwa Samoa, I'm a journalist of Ghana News Agency. My question, Honorable Minister, do you say one question?
For now.
Okay. Well, then I would like to know, Madam Minister mentioned 78 climate change initiatives that the ministry has rolled up. May we know some of these critical initiatives that you have taken or you have rolled out and how it will help mitigate climate change impact in the country? Thank you.
My name is Alex Boyer, I write for the New Crusading Guide. Yeah, I'm happy to hear of a project called the SIF project. Yeah, I'm happy for that, but I want to find out which communities are qualified for such project. For instance, there's a community called Abnabo near Sumom in the eastern region. And the road has been a very deplorable state for many years. I have approached the MC for the Sumom municipality, Honorable Margaret Darkon, several times, but she keeps telling me the road is not part of the Assembly's budget. So I want to find out which communities are qualified for such project. Thank you.
My name is Maxwell. I write for the Chronicle newspaper. When you were talking, you enumerated your top 10 districts. Your top 10 districts which have been able to achieve a certain quota. I want to know the threshold. What target was it? What percentage were they able to achieve? How much was it? When was it? And what are you doing to help the others to also improve on getting this very quota?
I'm not so sure it was a quota. I think it was rather those who were able to generate the most.
How were you able to access that? And I mean, I want to get a clear understanding on that.
My name is Comfort. And please, this question has been...
Your organization?
My Comfort. Actually, I'm not coming from an organization. Yeah, but I'm a friend of the media. And I've been asked, yes, from the caucus of the Ashanti women, the Assembly women in Ashanti region to come and ask this question, actually. But then it's just something that the Honorable Minister will simply ask for us, how they are sustaining the Assembly women, the elected Assembly women, and how the ministry also intends to improve our numbers. Because most importantly, the few people in the Assembly are being voted out because of lack of resources for this opportunity. Maybe Assembly members, women are also listening.
My question is, some of the assemblies, or the districts, I should say, do not have a system where they can dispose of fecal matter properly. So last week, my colleague was in Efutu, and there's a terrible situation there. But the contrast is that when you go to Tamale, for instance, there's a proper treatment system. Now, for the Efutu situation, they resort to disposing the fecal matter on farms. And this has implication for the food that comes to your table. And so my question is, how do you intend to deal with this properly? It's a looming health crisis. Thank you.
I came with my team, so I'll call on them to answer some of the issues that were raised. The climate change issue, we have a project called Local. Wasela, you want to quickly tell us some of the things you've done? We've worked in a number of districts on that, but the PAID program is essentially a climate change program. The Ghana Social Opportunities Project, that I said, we've done F dams. We've planted trees along the catchment areas of the dams. We've provided labor-intensive work. They are all climate change programs, and they are quite many. The local program is also based on capacity building of our district assemblies to support climate change program.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Just briefly.
The local, as Honorable Minister has mentioned, is an abbreviation for Local Climate Adaptive Living Facility. It's actually a performance-based grant system which we are implementing in 3 assemblies, namely Fantiakwa, Ada East, and Efutu Municipal. We give these assemblies some education on early warning systems and also climate adaptation issues. And we also support them with some infrastructure, some small grants for infrastructure development. So for Efutu, we've done dredging of some rivers and streams, which they are using to do irrigation and vegetable farming. We've done tree planting along some of the rivers in these assemblies we've mentioned. Some afforestation in Ada East, the mangrove area, we've tried to restore it. And for Fantiakwa, we've done a footbridge that was broken, and it was a main connecting bridge between 2 communities. We've done the footbridge, and people, it's bringing about economic activities and connectivity in those areas. Okay. And we do a lot of climate change awareness creation and sensitization programs as well. Thank you.
Okay. The Clean Cook Stove too is also a climate change initiative. The Clean Cook Stove that I just talked about, climate change initiative, but also hopefully an economic promotion initiative. The SIF, we have the executive director of SIF here, Mr. Frimpong, former MP for Kwabre. So he will respond to that.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The SIF stands for the Social Investment Fund. Right now, we are undertaking a project known as the Integrated Rural Development Project, the IRDP. And we are executing 245 sub-projects across the country. And we have selected 2 districts in each region. We are operating in 21 communities. Now, in choosing the district, we take into consideration the needs of the people, the poverty levels, and other things that the people have requested for. So it is not in all the districts that we are operating. We are operating in selected areas using some data that we have in our office. Right now, we are about 95% complete of the ongoing IRDP. We have applied for a new project, IRDP Phase 2. And when that comes on, it means that we are going to roll out about twice as many projects as are going on now. And the districts, we are going to increase the district from the existing 22 in each region, that is the former regions, to about 40 across the country. We build an educational infrastructure, 6 classroom blocks, teachers' quarters. We build health facilities like CHIP compounds, maternity blocks, and provide them with miniature ambulances. We have them using the tricycles. We use the tricycles to provide them with ambulance so that they can convey the very sick people from the very deep rural areas to the health facilities. We choose the district by considering the poverty data that we have in our office. and the needs of the people. It is these assemblies, and they are demand-driven projects. These assemblies apply and give us certain data. We require some data from them. And when the data are provided, it is based on the data that the districts are choosing. So if you don't need it, and when your district is chosen, we provide, it is a lot, we provide a whole lot of projects, about 10 to 16 projects in the district. And when you look at where we are doing them now, you see that they are very poor people, they are poor districts that we are working inside. So that is what we are doing.
IGF, what was the targeting, what was the amounts, and all that. Every month, the MMDAs are supposed to send us their trial balance, their information. So we collect that regularly, and there's a time limit for them to do that. And they have to show an indication of how they are collecting their rates. So we have their reports every month. So we do a quarterly analysis. They set targets every year for what they will do, and we'll do comparison analysis. But the key person who does the analysis is Agnes Lamte. So will you want to quickly respond to that?
We don't set target for the assemblies. They meet at their level and set their targets every year. And how SUNAFO came first was that we are looking at 2016, 2017, and 2018 growth. So if you look at their budget for 2016, they budgeted for 364, and they were able to achieve 236,000. In 2017, they budgeted for 270, and they achieved 180. And 2018, they budgeted for 502,000, and they achieved 633,000. If you look at the 2017 and 2018, for 2016 and 2017, they have a negative growth of 20.74%. But they were able to grow their IGF by 236% in 2018. Because if you look at the 2017 figure, what they achieved was 187,000. And they were able to move to 600, and that made the difference. We are not dealing with absolute figures. We are dealing with percentages here. Thank you very much.
So as indicated, we are not dealing with absolute figures. They set their targets, and then we'll look at the percentage increase. So if you set your target for 500, and then you're able to do 633,000 in 2018, that's a big achievement. And it's a big jump of about 238% over the 2017 figure. So that's what the analysis that we make. The question on the support for elected assembly members, see me and we'll talk about that later, because it wasn't part of the discussion. But I'm very keen on getting women elected into the, where is she? I'm very keen on getting women elected into the district assemblies. So let's discuss that. I know the Minister for Gender and Children Affairs is also very interested in supporting for women to get elected. We're supporting that. There'll be some capacity building programs for the women. This is a government, we have a president who is very interested in gender equality and promoting women empowerment and getting women visible in the programs. For example, we have 41 female DCs, unprecedented. Unprecedented. We have 41 female DCs. It has always hovered around 7%. Now we are heading for 20% female representation. We can do better, but 20% is good. And if you look at the ministers, female ministers, so definitely, and the boss, ambassadors everywhere. So this is a government for women empowerment, so support us. Sanitation from Joy News. You've stated the fact, even in my own district, but the interesting thing is that when the vehicles go to get the toilet, to pump out the distance, the farmers fight for it. They struggle for it. They want it, on their farms, because they get it, bury it, and use it as compost. And they say it helps them. But that's not the way to go. I'm not saying that we should have modern technology of treating our liquid waste. And we are doing it incrementally. You talked about Tamale. Yes, it has been established. Now it's established in Accra, Kumasi. There's still room for improvement. I think we are doing that. Involves money, it involves technology, it involves putting up systems in place. The Gamba project under local government, but now under Ministry of Sanitation, they've developed some programs on liquid waste treatment, and they are also moving ahead with that. The Minister of Sanitation has come up with a policy. We've all supported that policy development, and treatment of our liquid waste is also key component of that policy document. Thank you very much. With the Alternative Livelihood Program, as I indicated, we are working with Community Development Department. And if there's any institution in the country that can do proper assessments, it's community development. They go down to the people, do an assessment, look at, ask questions. They have the skills to do that. They are able to do it. So they went around the Galamsey affected districts, identified the various youth in this Galamsey activity, talked to them. They were even able to, and in doing that, they even talked to the opinion leaders, the chiefs, and all the people. They went around all the districts, all the communities. And I'd like to acknowledge the support of the Interministerial Committee, providing funding for us to do this activity. And at the end of it, they registered 5,000 people who were very much interested in some kind of support and activity training for them to give up Galamsey. And then 500 of them registered to attend our institutions. Community development, they have technical and vocational institutes. So 500 of them are there. Some of the 5,000 too still want to go. But we started with 500. One, placement is an issue. Two, the funding that we have, we are able to take care of 500 now. So after they move out, we'll take an additional number. And that's why we are also attaching others to craftsmen. Those who are not able to go to the institution, we are attaching them to craftsmen, and they are also learning the skills at various levels. So this is the assessment that has gone on, and is training, and the training that is going on. We also have community-level training so that they can learn other various trades at community. Yes, the Galamsey is not completely out yet, but that means we all have to still working on the issue of Galamsey. We recognize the disadvantages of that, the disaster associated with that, and we should continue working and campaigning, including the media, towards the elimination or mitigation of the Galamsey and its effects in the community. Thank you. Madam Minister, since I've had no question and no suggestion on the election of MMDCs, can I assume that you are all on board and you are going to help in the campaign for the referendum for us to get a resounding yes? Can I assume? Yes. I want to hear from the media, not my staff. I'm not my staff. I want to hear from the media. Can I assume you are part of it? Yes. It's not a strong yes. Is it a strong yes? Yes. Thank you.